Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. The Virgin is a earthy tower, a passive tower, a changeable transformer, a feminine, a planet-shaped planet of youth and youth. Love of science and study. The Virgin brings in all the characteristics of the earthly tower's incarnation. It's the kind of positive and negative. My grandfather in his life in general. He is characterized by intelligent intelligence, adaptability, fluent language, a belligerent speaker, but inclined to criticism. He is intelligent, honest, and has the ability to synthesize and draw conclusions. Discussion witty, committed to his ideas and what he was doing. He goes on his business to the utmost extent, especially if he believes that what he pays for it is worthy and worthy of attention. The Virgin is active and practical in the pursuit of perfection, characterized by genius, skill, and flexibility. His eyes are bright. He observes his vision and is seen with keen eyes. The other may feel that in the eyes of the Virgin arrows can penetrate. He is the greatest observer and analyst you know in any field. We are interested in the clarity of things and to show their truth and completeness. So we see that he cares about things accurately. He is practical and very realistic, leaving nothing to lose. He has great talent and ability to do business with passion and passion. It has a deep sense of responsibility, a lot of activity, tireless and not tired of what he does. A lover of research and investigation. All things for him need to be studied and analyzed. Precise perseverance. Things are seen more closely and comprehensively than the rest of the babies. To work great importance in his life, for both women and men in this tower. Humiliation is determined by his personality and future. His thinking is of a high standard. Pursues its practical and cultural goals designed to be implemented at a given time. Devotes itself entirely to this work, and all its work generally gives it the time necessary to complete it. Only high and superior results are accepted. The Virgin hates those who interfere in his work and affairs or those who try to distract his mind. Some believe that he is dangerous in making plans, because he is very talented in managing his business and the work of others, which earns a lot of profit, practically making great efforts and sacrificing without expense. Be sincere, prompt, and honest and unmatched, especially if he loves what he does, which is the basic condition that makes him care about everything even from himself. So life for the Virgin workshop for which neglect is comfort and special pleasure. It is the right of my arrival. The imperfections of the Virgin appear in his tendency to destructive criticism. He is a critic of the first degree, and this is an innate characteristic of him. The critic whose criticism he likes to be used constructively can be inversely counterproductive. According to the person in question, there are those who accept criticism as an alert and a note to be alerted to not repeating mistakes and avoiding them. Some criticize criticism as bad. Critic: the Virgin is timid, selfish, and shy, and does not like the participation of anyone in his purposes, nor does he love lending. He considers it his own property and his primary right. It is disturbing to exaggerate in focusing on the details, no matter how small, and this is one of its disadvantages. Therefore, we may see it as a militant who indulges in the fun and pleasures that bring joy to him, which is surrounded by disorder, constant thinking and anxiety. Virgo tends to lie and chatter, and he is brilliant in this area, and does so only to protect himself, so he is forced to lie in an involuntary manner. But an attempt to satisfy all around him. The Virgin does not like to take risks and always has a problem with the unknown who fears him. So we find him discreet in his relations with others unless he is reassured by their behavior. He criticizes every behavior that emanates from them, and the reason for this is his love for perfection, and this desire may turn him into someone who is concerned and self-distrustful in others. This explains why he behaved this way. and why it is difficult to recover from his harsh and hurtful comments. The virgin baby is very beloved, despite its sharp print and critical criticism. His personality is majestic and glamorous, eye-catching, and realistically shows his taste in clothes and furniture. He tends to look stylish and reflect his neat and clean personality. You know of its outer shape, its sharp looks of pride, accuracy, gracefulness, and balance. He likes to leave a good impression and a good reputation in his surroundings. His most important concerns are in human and health matters, and everything related to the human being is healthy. It is the area where others serve in full seriousness, with dedication and sincerity, where all his energies and interests are unlimited, so that most of the children born in this tower succeed in the field of health, such as surgeon, doctor, pharmacist, chemist. A virgin loves luxury, grandeur, luxury, and the joy of living. He aspires to respect, admiration, and boudeilles at every moment, cannot afford to discover his weaknesses, or to be defeated by a strong competitor. So it is hated to share one of the glamour of excellence and only the material and literary success. He wants us to worship him, and we admire him. This kind-hearted child is a peaceful print. He has a strong intuition and inspiration that allows him to think about danger before it happens. It is difficult for the virgin to control himself, despite his cold appearance. When he is angry, he is rude, and his nature is mixed with suspicion and anxiety, especially if he is forced to act against his will and provocation, which makes him conservative to maintain his own peculiarities. He hates to admit mistakes. He is not evil, his intentions good. Do not inculcate evil to anyone. His conscience is alive and has lofty principles. But it is dusty, and earthy towers keep traditions and customs familiar because they feel safe. But change frightens them and frightens them. The virgin is rarely seen dreaming or imitating imaginary fantasies, but because of his meditation, he tends to laziness and procrastination. Because he has not yet finished compiling things and has not reached the final analysis, and in general, he persevering, diligent, wants to do more of his ability to commit himself to perform tasks that exceed his capacity and depleted many times. Succeed in situations that require accuracy, endurance, analysis, caution, and responsibility. When the virgin is satisfied with his work, the smile appears on his lips and his eyes become more bright, and shine as a star, and shine with pride. If the virgin is not aware of political matters, he must have enough knowledge of health and humanity, where the need for a permanent human does not stop. He is in this very skillful field. He is careful about his health, is afraid of pain, keeps his home with a small pharmacy that contains the necessary medicines and emergency first aid, and cares about the details attached and codified in the list of each medicine, and often gives health tips to others free of charge. The virgin works hard to secure his future, but because of his distaste and love for luxury and extravagance, he spends what he earns, which makes his future difficult to secure because of the risk of material to the extent of bankruptcy. Although he does not like to risk his money, he prefers to save it. So he has to be careful and stay away from what might pose a real threat to his future. Otherwise, he will face the actual collapse and the inevitable. It is necessary to say that the reality of the virgin helps him to understand things after overcoming the stage of tease and adolescence. At maturity, things are clearer. He walks with confidence, with steady steps, and works consciously for a better future. In general, the virgin loves to be among the people who shine among them. His home is always clean and orderly, and the food preferred by the more savory than if it was healthy, because it is obese and the result of obesity known disease is not necessary to mention specially compatible. With Bull and Capricorn and earthy towers like him, the best tower for marriage. With Taurus, Capricorn, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces tower, he is fit to be a doctor, a surgeon, a public relations manager, a bank employee, a biologist, a university professor studying literature, a critic in various fields.